The Hawk says 547 people have been arrested in the fourth quarter of the last financial year for various crimes in the country. In fact, Hawk's head, Godfrey Lebeya, made that announcement at a briefing earlier today. He says Gauteng contributed the most arrests, followed by the Northwest.
Of these natural persons, 421, which is 80%, are South Africans, while 105, which represent 20%, are foreign nationals. Fraud contributed to the highest number of arrests with 224 accused, including 21 juristic persons.
Well, General Lebeya joins us now to unpack some more of these numbers. Great to have you on the program, sir. Thanks very much indeed for your time. All in all, would you say this has been a successful fourth quarter of last year?
We can say that it is a successful quarter because if you look at the overall number that we are putting forward, it means that on each day, literally every day, there is success that we are putting on the table. And this is what we have been doing for some time. So one is appreciative of the commitment that our members are demonstrating to their work. One also appreciates that some of the successes we were able to achieve because members of the public provided us with the information. Most of these incidents are happening where the members of the public have access. So we appreciate that.
General Lebeya, 547 people arrested in the fourth quarter of the last financial year, and then the arrests versus the convictions, 182 convictions. I'm not sure exactly of the percentage that works out to, but in terms of arrests versus convictions, should we be happy about that?
Yeah, usually when you want to calculate the conviction rate, you need not check the arrests that were effected in a particular period versus the conviction in that particular period. Because the convictions usually take time. When I was unpacking some of the cases that we were able to cite, 3% of those, you could see that some of the matters come from 2015 and the convictions are only achieved now in this quarter. So most of these matters remain on the court roll. We are not losing them. As we speak, there are more than 12,000 accused persons that are serving before the various courts in South Africa. So we haven't lost that. So the number of convictions depend on the number of cases that are being finalized in court. Our conviction rates are always higher than 70%. So you'll find that in some of the cases we achieve 90%, in some of the cases 75, 80%. So we never achieve less. So one can be saying that the conviction rate itself is high. But as to the number of cases that are finalized at a particular time, I think that is the area where we may want to improve on.
Right. I think that's actually some incredibly important context there. Just because these numbers come out of the fourth quarter of the last financial year doesn't mean that these cases emanate from that period. It can be as far back as many years ago.
That's correct.
Right, right.
Yeah, this case take some time on the court roll. It is various reasons. You will see that some of the accused persons we arrest, if we arrest more than 10 suspects, which you see in some of the cases, and they pay bail, whenever these cases are coming for trial, from time to time you'll find that one accused is not available, which means that the whole case has to be postponed to another date. So that, I think, that is how the matters get delayed.
And of course, we've got various stories, various cases that have been in the news agenda for some time. Bosasa, VBS, sign off the issue of cash in transit heists. You've had, in some cases, major breakthroughs in those cases, would you say?
Yes. From time to time, we will be indicating that there is breakthrough in these cases. You shall have noted that among the cases we have indicated VBS, some of the suspects have already been convicted, found guilty, and sentenced by court. Some of them already finished the serving of their sentence, but some of the suspects are obviously still protesting in court, wanting to prove their innocence. There are matters that we are still investigating. We are not yet ready to take the accused persons to court. And then at the time when the initial investigation was conducted, we had a certain number of suspects that were identified. But when we conducted the investigation, we are identifying more than what the initial report suggested. But we will leave no stone unturned until everyone who committed those offenses is brought to book.
So many, it's quite a thick printout here, the media briefing that you gave this morning, and I'm just going through some of the headings here of the kinds of crimes where breakthroughs have been made by the Hawks. And it's so incredibly wide-ranging. Cases of kidnapping and robbery, human trafficking, rape, theft of fuel from Transnet pipelines. There's been cases of cash in transit heists, fraud. It's been an incredibly busy period for the Hawks, and I suppose it always is. But here at the end of your media briefing, you did touch on the issue of state capture investigations and TRC cases. I want to say on behalf of the state capture investigations, you said that you have, as the Hawks, 22,000 sworn affidavits in the state capture cases. You say you're determined to make arrests in the short to medium term. But General Lebeya, why is this process taking so incredibly long?
If you count the number of affidavits that we say we have recorded, you will understand that there is mammoth task that needs to be done here. One statement is not just a matter of a few minutes and then you are finished with the statement. You will see that it is pages of affidavits that we have to be packaging. One affidavit, some of them are more than 10 pages. And some, if I can hint from the VBS, one statement we had to take more than 30 days. But I think when these statements are presented in court, hopefully some of the legal minds will be able to ask questions and see how long this statement is. So it takes time to do this. 2,000 statement is a lot of work that has been done.
Is it 22,000, General Lebeya?
No, 22,000 is the cases that we are having on hand. So we have got several cases. So we have got more than 12,000 accused persons that are currently serving in court. That number is high. And if you look at this, the work that I have just packaged here, you talk of state capture. The 2,000 statements that we are talking about, the number of suspects that we have already put before the courts. Since we started, there are 33 that we say we have put before the courts in the Republic. And there is already convictions that have been secured. And these are not the only work that we have done. You look in all the provinces, search for major cases, you'll find that we have deposited. You look in KZN, you look in the Western Cape, just such major cases, you'll see that the Hawks have contributed to those matters. So here, one can't say everything, but it's just 3% that we are highlighting. That let's tell you about 3% of the work that we have. If we were to talk about the whole 100%, people will see that there is a lot of work that is being done.
Yeah, 2,241 statements. That's the exact number according to the documentation we've received from the Hawks. It's certainly, when you talk about just the length of one affidavit, you can imagine 2,241. And you know, General Lebeya, once it gets to the stage where these cases are appearing in court, the NPA has not had a good record so far of dealing with state capture cases, not favorable outcomes insofar as particularly its state capture record is concerned. As the Hawks, are you concerned that the NPA perhaps does not have the know-how, the hands on deck to be able to successfully prosecute these cases?
Generally, if you look at the conviction rate, as I have indicated, those convictions are secured by the National Prosecuting Authority. If you have got a system that is working well in a country, you can't expect to get 100% conviction rate. If you get 100% conviction rate, then there is something wrong. That is why you'll find the accused person employing the very experienced counsels to come and defend their cases. And remember that it doesn't necessarily mean that a person who's acquitted is innocent by all means. It is just that the system says that it is always better to acquit 100 guilty persons than to convict a single innocent person. So some of those individuals that are acquitted are not necessarily innocent, which is why some of the matters the NPA will appeal and indeed win that appeal. So I do not want to blame our colleagues when they are trying their best at court to prove all the cases, which obviously the merits of each of them will dictate. And I don't even think that the counsel that are representing the accused persons are also expecting that all their clients will be acquitted. So it is a balancing act that the presiding official has to really apply his or her mind.
Yeah, certainly. It's just unfortunate that perhaps as lay people, as South Africans who are waiting for justice, particularly in state capture cases, that's often how we will judge the success of, finding justice, getting to the point of saying we have justice for state capture.
Yes, for us, we believe that once we secure the attendance of accused person in court, the complainant is given an opportunity to come and present the case. At times, you may want to blame the NPA, whereas it is the witness or the complainant whose evidence is something that the presiding officer is unable to agree with.
Lieutenant General Godfrey Lebeya is the national head for the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigations, the Hawks. Thanks very much indeed for your time this afternoon.